After the live, we're just going to wait a few minutes, see if anyone hops on. I'm going to do a little talk before my lifts in the morning, and we're going to take it from there. Today, we'll be talking about Turtle Man 2, Dungeon Supermatch series, Turtle Man shirts, Team Stone shirts. There's Team Stone straps. We'll talk about that later when everyone hops on. We're going to talk about the tournament. We're going to talk about the super matches. We'll talk about all the athletes on the card. Probably go over some rules again. And, take it from there. If anyone is watching, if you guys can guess what's in my pre-workout, I'll give you, if you get every ingredient, there's, was it 1, 2, 3, like, I want to say 5 ingredients. So there's 5 ingredients to this. If you guess what's in the pre-workout, we'll give you 25% off your next Team Stone purchase. So that's either arm wrestling straps, Team Stone t-shirts, something like this, or even training, even be applied to coaching. Coaching is a couple different options. Most of the people, they train right in here in this gym. Some people are online. We do like FaceTime, stuff like that, FaceTime training. But thanks for watching. We just got someone on, so let's start talking about the event. So it's a 2-day event. The first day will be Friday. The super matches will be Friday. It's gonna start at noon. I would recommend, if you want to watch the super matches, parking is going to be a little tricky, potentially tricky. We will have a couple guys directing traffic, but I would recommend getting there before 12. Definitely earlier the better. I'll probably be there Friday like 10 or something. For the athletes, we're going to have a rule meeting Friday at 11, and then the event will start at noon. If you guys are interested in watching the event, it's going to be a pay-per-view event. Hey, how you doing, Tyler? Thanks for watching. It's going to be a pay-per-view event, as well as there's in-person tickets available. So if you guys are interested and you want to watch the event in person, let me know and I'll let you know how to get tickets. If you guys can't make it to Connecticut that day, there will also be a pay-per-view right on this channel. It's going to be the pay-per-view, the money we get from the pay-per-view, whatever YouTube doesn't take, we're gonna split it up for the charity, and we're gonna split it up we're gonna give it to the athletes on the card. But speaking of the athletes, let's go over some of the matches. Now, feel free to let me know what your favorite matches, as I name them off. You might have already watched the last couple ones I've been talking about a lot recently. But in no order. So that's a good question, Amanda. So if you're interested in getting tickets, there's a couple options. You just got to shoot me a message, and then we'll take it from there. So if you if you have Facebook, shoot me a message on Facebook. The name is Nicholas Stone. If you don't have Facebook, shoot me a message on Instagram. Instagram is _TeamStone777. Shoot me a message on one of those, and we'll take it from there. If you don't have those two, let me know. But most people have Facebook or Instagram, so shoot me a message on that, and I'll give you more details from there. Let's see. Fun Train says, will Hulk Hogan be there? Now, he might be there. Best situation, he's there in spirit. Worst scenario, he is there as a zombie. Zombie Hogan would be tough to deal with. Zombie Hogan. But let's talk about some of the athletes. The first match that comes to mind in no particular order will be James Road Mason versus Tim Lewis. It's going to be a best of 5. Tim Lewis is a replacement athlete for Brandon. Brandon's not able to make it. So Tim is stepping up. Nope, no Fun Train. I couldn't. We didn't have the budget for. I tried to get Cena, just do a little meet and greet or whatever it's called, but we didn't have the budget to fly him over with this charity event. Maybe next year we'll have a bigger budget to fly out. But we'll try. All right, Amanda, I appreciate that. Yeah, shoot me a message and we'll take it from there. How to get tickets. But it's gonna be a great time. Like I said before. The money for the tickets, ticket money will be 100% given to the charity. The pay-per-view money, whatever YouTube doesn't take, will be divided up for the charity and the athletes on the card, and probably the referees too. I'll probably, because the referees are working hard, and yeah, so it's probably going to be the athletes and referees will get a cut. No, I've never heard of Limitless Wrestling. Is that arm wrestling or is that like WWE wrestling? Next match on the card will be in no order, just what comes to mind. Personally, I'm a big fan of this match. I'm very excited. I'm excited for all of them, but this one kind of has like a unique spot, because one of these athletes was on the team that I first started training with, the Assassin, Ron Armini. Probably my first year in the sport was at his place and his gym, training with the armbenders, the CT armbenders, and he will be pulling a legend of the sport. Most of you probably already know him, Bill Sinks. Bill Sinks has been going on a tear recently, been very active. Both these athletes, similar styles in their own kind of way. They're both very good top rollers. They both have, big frame, big hands for that weight class. I want to say they're meeting at 220. But it should be good. Also, in no particular order, the next match that comes to mind is Sam Mitchell versus Brian Malek. It will be a right-hand match, best of 5. All these matches are best of 5 except for the 1 versus 3. Sam is very, very, very sticky in his positions. Once the match stops, he's very, very hard to deal with. He's got great endurance. But Brian, in terms of style, may have a slight advantage in terms of style. But we'll see. I think it's going to be very interesting. I think they're meeting at, I want to say they're meeting at 165 pounds, if I'm not mistaken. So, Limitless Wrestling is like the WWE of New England. Started in Maine, lots of pros, and Limitless still working for WWE. No, I've never, I haven't heard of it personally. When I was younger, a young teenager, I was a big fan of wrestling, and then I just, I haven't watched it recently, but I'm sure it'd be fun to go see a show. I bet it'd be a good show to watch. Yeah, I'll check it out if I remember. Limitless Wrestling. Hey, what's up, Ivan? How you doing? Thanks for watching. We're just talking about the super matches. You said you're going to be there, right, Ivan? You said you're going to the event, or I know you're definitely going to be at the tournament. You said, but I can't remember if you said you're going to go to the pay-per-view event Friday. I know it's a tricky time. It's at noon, but that's our only time frame to pull something off. Because I'm gonna have to be in the gym around 7 p.m. to set up for the tournament the next day. But let's go to another match. The next match that comes to mind in no particular order will be the ladies' match. Katie Passmore, she's been around a lot in the sport. She's been pretty active. She's had a good amount of super matches. She will be pulling Kyla Ward. Kyla Ward is a little newer. This will be her first super match. But that being said, I've seen her compete, and she's pinned some very strong women. So it should be interesting, Should be interesting. It's kind of like the battle of the experience versus the battle of power, Candy is going to go up a little bit in weight. Kyla is going to go down a little bit in weight. And I want to say they're meeting at 140 pounds. So that should be a good match. That's also a right arm match, best of 5. So far, out of the matches I said, what's your guys' favorite match so far? Let's see, the next match that comes to mind. These athletes will be pulling left and right. Ron the High Chief Columba versus Black Ice. These guys have lots of history together. Ron used to train Black Ice back in the day when Black Ice first started, about 15, but it's probably 20 years ago. They've met many times in tournaments. To the best of my knowledge, Chief has always won, but I know Black Ice definitely is hungry. He definitely wants some revenge. And if he does get revenge, I feel like it's going to be a very sweet revenge, especially where the event is. It's going to be in the dungeon. If you guys don't know, the dungeon is the Chief's home. That's where he trains. That's where he lives. So I know Chief is definitely not going to take this lightly. And these athletes are pulling a best of 5 left and right arm. And most likely I'll probably have them, unless both athletes don't want to, they'll probably go one match, and then we'll just swap the pad and they'll go right into the next match. But I'm going to talk to athletes, see if they want the rest in between. But I feel like both these athletes would prefer just to go right into it, left and right. There is only one other athlete on the card that is pulling left and right. The only difference is he is pulling 2 separate opponents. His first opponent will be on the right arm. He is pulling James Clark. Now, Paul Passmore has been getting around a lot. He's been pulling. He's getting some good wins. Even if he takes a loss, it's usually a 3-2 battle to the end, so it's very, very entertaining to watch. But recently he's looking very strong. He's looking big. He's looking very good on the table. But so is James. James will have a height advantage. They're going to be meeting at the same weight. James, he might be like 6'1", 6'2", maybe. Paul he might be like, he's definitely, I think he's under 6 foot, so maybe like 3 or 4 inches difference. It might be a big factor. It might not. But one guy is a hooker. One guy is a top roller. So it's a battle of the styles. It should be very interesting, very, very interesting. Paul also has a match lefty with Justin Bear, aka Trapzilla, who has been spending a little time with boxing. He's been boxing, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's the Tough and Rowdy or something like that, Rough and Rowdy or something. But he's been boxing, but he's back in the sport. These two athletes, Paul and Justin, have been they've been talking about a match for a while, and it just so happens we're able to put it on September 5th at noon Friday. And if you guys, like I said before, if you guys want to get tickets to this awesome event, shoot me a message on Facebook, Nicholas Stone, or Instagram _Team Stone 777, and we'll take it from there. Next match that comes to mind. Some reason there's 9 matches on the card, and I always, no matter what, it's always a different match. I always forget one. Like yesterday when we were talking about it, I forgot the Assassin and Bill Sinks match, which I can't, that's one of my favorite matches. I can't believe I forgot it, but I remembered it about at the end of the video. But next match on the card, it will be so let's go to my match. I think I'm definitely missing one, but my match will be a 1 versus 3. So I will be pulling 3 athletes, John, Damian, and Andrew. I'm very appreciative to these guys stepping up. I definitely really wanted a super match at this event, the first ever Dungeon Super Series. Because it's a charity event, our budget is 0. So it's very tricky to get a high level match with a budget of 0, which I definitely understand. Most athletes at that level at least want travel and stay, so they at least don't want to lose anything, lose money kind of thing, which is definitely fair at that level. It's definitely fair, but right now we just didn't have the budget to pull it off. So that being said, the 1 versus 3 match was born. I'm very appreciative to all these 3 guys that stepped up. John, Damian, and Andrew. All these guys are taking the trip on their own dime, on their own time, to pull at this event. So I can't say it enough how appreciative I am of these guys. But that being said, I'm not losing. I just came off a tough loss recently. I just had my first loss in a super match, and that being said, I'm not losing twice. So it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be really fun. I've been training really hard for it. But we'll see. We'll see. It's gonna be good. Both of these athletes, or all 3 of these athletes, they all have, there's a reason why I picked them. They all have a threat that it could potentially cause a lot of problems for me. I've practiced with these guys before, and all 3 of these guys have been able to pin me in practice. So Maybe I'm biting off more than I could chew, but I think it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time. Um, so how the 1 versus 3 match is gonna go? If you're um, if you're watching in person, that match is probably gonna go first on Friday in person. This way, if there's any problems with the new rules, we can adjust for the other athletes. But also, just way after, it's challenging to focus on being an athlete and uh, being a promoter. So I would like to pull first. This way, I can finish the match, and once the match is finished, I can go back to switching gears into making sure the event is running well. But it's gonna be good. But now, if you're watching at home, that might be played last on the pay-per-view. The pay-per-view will be played. So it's going to be edited version. The first match will be available Sunday night, and every day, like every following day. So Sunday night will be the first match. Monday night will be the second match. Tuesday night, third match, and that will continue for 9 days until we get to the main event. Now, that being said, it's not 9 separate payments. It's just one payment. It's going to be on this channel, YouTube, the paid membership. So it is a monthly reoccurring payment. So keep that in mind. If you guys just want to buy it this one time, remember to, whatever it's called, remember to unsign up for it if you don't want to continue to pay for it. But there will be more things on that membership than just this one event. There will be all the events. Any pay-per-view on Stone TV will be on that same membership. You will also have a discount. So if you sign up for the membership, there will be a discount, and an unlimited discount, meaning I can't remember, it might be like 5% maybe, but you can use it as long as you're a member. You can continue to use that discount on anything you want: shirts, straps, coaching. And there will also be I haven't posted any yet. I'm gonna post some more member videos. Yeah, so like, only videos members could see. But it should be good. Should be good. The 1 versus 3. The way it's gonna go is I'm gonna pull one athlete at a time, but they will be rounds in. So every round, the athlete will change. So for example, round 1, I will pull athlete A. Round 2, athlete B. Round 3, athlete C, and then repeat. So round 4 to go back to athlete A. Now, these athletes have freedom. They can change the order. If they want to go A, C, B, they can go anything they want. They can change the order if they have a game plan in terms of, try to wear me out or something. They can do whatever they want. They can stick to that. They can do whatever they want. One thing I was thinking is I think it may be fun. It might be more of like an entertainment side, is allowing each guy a one-time tag in where they will switch out they can switch out in between a round and get a fresh athlete in there. That's not set. That's just something I think it might be something to mess around, think about, and see if it might be good. I'm definitely forgetting a match. But if you guys are watching, what match am I forgetting? You get the Black Ice and Chief, Passmore and Clark, Passmore and Justin, 1 versus 3, Assassin versus Bill. The ladies match, Kyla versus Passmore, Sam Mitchell and Brian Malek. Actually, that might be all of them. I might not have forgotten this time, so that means I'm getting better. That means we're improving. But yeah, if you guys got questions for me about what we talked about so far, let me know. If you got other questions, let me know. So let's talk a little bit about the tournament. So the tournament, the Turtle Man Classic 2, the second annual event will be September 6th, the day after the pay-per-view. It's also a charity event. Now, this was actually brought to me, an idea brought to me by the gym. There might be a like a door fee. With that, what I mean by that is, if you are not arm wrestling, if you're not competing, there might be like a $5 door fee or something like that, and that will be given to the charity. Now that's not locked in. That's just an idea. I just figured I'd give you guys a heads up that might be there. Because the best of mine, I've never seen that done at a tournament before. But it might be good. It also may scare some people away. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I guess if $5 scares them away, then maybe they're not meant to be in the sport, possibly. But we'll see. So the Saturday, the way the day is going to go is weigh-ins, sign-ups will be at the same time. Weigh-ins start, the earliest you can weigh in on Friday will be 8 a.m. The latest you can weigh in is 11 a.m. So guys, do not show up. If you want to compete in the tournament, do not show up after 11. You will not be able to be in the bracket. Once we get the bracket, we won't be able to add anything more. Also, too, we don't want to hold up. If you show up late, we will not hold up everyone because you showed up late. So I would say, definitely get there before 11. Now, once the weigh-ins are done, probably like 11:05, we are going to have a rules meeting, something like that for the tournament. A safety rule. There'll be a rules meeting, safety rules for the novice, amateurs, maybe even semi-pro. Maybe we might even have the safety rules applied to the semi-pro class. But we'll see. The safety rules will just be like if for someone's pulling novice, if someone gets into an unsafe position, meaning high risk of a spiral fracture of the arm, or if they're all stretched out in a king's move, those matches will be stopped in the novice, amateur, and maybe even semi-pro. I don't know. Definitely amateur and novice will be stopped. There will be safety stoppages. The athlete will get one foul for the stoppage. But also, too, the referee will take a second and explain to them why it was stopped and why they thought it was unsafe. And then the match will continue, restart. let's see. The event will start at noon. There's going to be 3 main tables. So 3 tables on the stage. We're going to have the kids table off to the side, as well as the sit-down table off to the side. We might have another 4th table. We're going to see how it looks in the brackets. See how it works with the back brackets. Last year we had 4 going, but it might have been too much for the system to handle. So we think 3 might be a little smoother with the option of 4. So I'm not exactly sure when the tournament will be over. Last year we finished. I want to say we finished up around 4 or 5. So probably 4 or 5 hours for the tournament. Could be bigger, so it could be longer, depending on how many people. But also, that being said, I want to have a big after pool party both days. I want an after pool arm wrestling party both days. So Friday there will be an after pool after the super matches, and after the tournament there will also be an after pool right in the same location. So it'll be a good time. It'll be lots of fun, lots of arm wrestling. Also, too, playing a little game. If anyone pins my left arm in any one of those after pulls, that individual will be given a free ticket to the next event, in-person event. People have unlimited tries, but they can only win once. So keep that in mind. You have unlimited tries. All you got to do is just go up, hey, you want to arm wrestle, and that's it. And then we'll arm wrestle and see if you can pin me. And we'll have fun. We'll have some fun, get some training in. Now, I'm going to be as strict as I can be with my knowledge that I have from the people that show up to keep people in an appropriate level, like novice, amateur, semi-pro, and pro. Personally, it's very frustrating for me to see someone I guess my opinion, I feel like a lot of times I see people stay back in a lower level class instead of jumping up, even though I think they would be better jumping up. I feel like a lot of people's mindsets are, because they don't win, they're not ready for a pro class. But the problem is when they're in an amateur or a semi-pro class, they put real people at that level at a very high risk of injury. Like if a pro is pulling an amateur, someone's been pulling for 6 years and they enter an amateur class. One guy's extremely experienced. He's conditioned. Everything is built up. His body had time to adapt to the bone. The bones to adapt, and he's just gonna know a lot more. The risk of injury goes way up. For somebody that's actually in that class. Like for instance, maybe I'm biased because of my first experience, but my first arm wrestling match, I was in the novice class. My first arm wrestling event, I did one practice, and I went to an event. I entered the novice class. I won the left, but I came in second right, and the guy that beat me had about 7 years of experience. And I was so new, I didn't even know what a top roll was at that time. I was confused. I was like, how did I lose? I didn't even know what happened. I was like, what is that? He goes, it's a top roll. I go, what's a top roll? And then Yeah, but novice, one thing I know for sure, the novice class, I'm going to be extremely strict, meaning if you have one tournament, you will not be in the novice class. We're gonna put you in an amateur class. A novice for this, I gotta double check the dictionary. I don't know what the actual definition of novice. I think the definition of novice is, last time I checked, is no experience or zero experience. But someone's gotta check that on my someone's gotta check my dictionary knowledge. But at least for this tournament, a novice class will be zero experience. Zero experience. If you have one practice, that might be cool. But if you have 6 months of practices, no, that's not, in my opinion, that's not a novice. Even if you haven't done one tournament, if you've done 6 months of practices, I think it would be maybe unfair. But I think the biggest thing is it's unsafe for someone that's a real novice. So, like, when I say a real novice, what I mean by that is we're going to be in a gym. So I'm planning on, there's going to be a lot of strong guys walking around that day, and they're going to see some arm wrestling going on, and they're like, oh, I didn't know this was a real sport. I didn't know this was a real sport. And then they're going to try it out. And a strong new guy is you guys know, the highest risk of injury for arm wrestling is a super strong new guy. But also, too, novice will be a lot easier to be strict on in terms of the level. Once you amateur and semi-pro get tricky, pro is going to be easy. I'll be able to tell if someone, I know most of the pros in the area. We are going to allow you to go up a class. Like, say if a true novice wants to pull amateur, they can. But what we will not do, it's all going to be very tricky. And I might not be able to do as much as I was thinking, as in terms of strictness. But we're not going to allow, if someone is a true pro, if they're just wrecking havoc, if wrecking havoc in the pro class, I don't think they'll be allowed to go into the semi-pro class. But that's stuff like that gets tricky. So we're gonna it'll probably have to be so obvious that we know right away. But yeah, so far from the things we talked about, what do you guys think? Any questions? Any questions about the super matches? Any questions about the tournament? What time things start? I can't remember if I talked about this in the beginning, but we are doing pre-orders for Turtle Man 2 shirts. Let's see. I have one over there somewhere. Let's see. Where is that? Oh, there we go. So see that green shirt over there? That's from the first year. We're going to have second edition shirts this year. We are doing a pre-order sale. So if you guys want to definitely lock them in, make sure you get a Turtle Man shirt. Shoot me a message on Facebook or Instagram. Facebook, Nicholas Stone. Instagram, Team Stone. It's underscore Team Stone 777. And I'll let you know how to get shirts. We can do, I got Cash App, Zeal, and I think even like Facebook Pay. I think Facebook Pay works too. But the shirts are going for $30. The money from the Turtle Man shirts will be given to the charity. And we already, I want to say 1/5 of the shirts already spoken for. I want to say 20 shirts already spoken for. So some of the sizes are running low. Like, for instance, I think it's the opposite of last year. The 3Xs and the smalls are going faster than last year. Last year was a lot of larges and extra larges were going. Hey, what's up, Sergio? Thanks for watching. How you doing? You gonna make it to Turtle Man September 6th, and maybe even the super matches the day before, the 5th? Let you know. But let's see. We talked about the super matches. We talked about the tournament. We talked about the athletes. So let's talk about yeah, man. We could talk about the tournament, talk about whatever, get some training in, get some arm wrestling in. But let's talk about why the Turtle Man, how it started and what it's for. So the Turtle Man started because of not the best situation. We had a teammate. His name was Danny DeMichael. We call his nickname was Turtle Man. Unfortunately, he passed away about 2 years ago to a drunk driver. He left behind a daughter and a wife. So what we do is we get together as a team and we put last year's event on together. We raise money for him. We just give the money straight to them. They take the money and they put it into a school fund, something that's going to grow over time. Last year we raised, I always forget the exact number, but it was over $6,500. So there's more than $6,500 in that school fund already. This year, I definitely have a goal of getting more, raising more than last year. I think it's definitely possible. We got, double the action. We got 2 events going on. Plus I think it's growing, and I think people really like it. I think people are having a lot of fun with this event. But yeah, that's pretty much how the Turtle Man started. We do this tournament in Danny's honor. Danny was very I'm not good with my words, but he's a very good man. He's very, like, everyone. I've never met anybody say anything bad about him. Everyone liked him. Everyone liked to talk to him. But this is a little something to honor his memory. So, like I said, all the money so when you guys go to the tournament, you guys pay the money for the arms. All that money will 100% be given to the family. The money from the shirts, 100% will be given to the family. The raffles, 100%, not the raffles, the silent auction will be given 100% to the family. The only thing that's not going to be given to the family is the Friday event, because YouTube is going to take a section. And I do want to give a portion of the pay-per-views to the athletes on the card and the referees, because these guys are making a big, everyone is making this trip on their own dime, their own time. So I'm very appreciative to them. There's definitely people on the card that definitely do, in my opinion, they deserve, at the level they're at, they deserve to have, a little something for the level they're at. But we just didn't have the budget for it this year with a charity event. So I'm very appreciative to all these athletes on the card. Yeah, man, definitely. If you got some buddies, all are welcome. We're gonna have weight classes as low as 154 pounds. as well as all the way up to the super heavyweights. So there's weight classes, there's an experience levels. Even if you got guys that are first timers, more than welcome. We're going to have a novice class, which will be people that have zero experience. But yeah, man, if you could bring some people to the Turtle Man, that'd be great. That'd be great. Also, too, I don't know if you're around Friday for the super matches. It's going to be at noon at Friday in Connecticut. It's a little tricky time. I know it's tricky Friday at noon, but that was our only time frame to make this happen. So we're going to make it happen. Let's see. What else is there? I guess we could talk about some rules. So the first thing a referee will say before they do anything is, once the athletes look like they have a grip, the referee will say, "Athlete, are you good with this grip? Athlete, are you good with this grip?" If both athletes say, "Yes, I agree to this grip, I feel good," they say yes, the next command will be the referee will, so like the ref, both these guys, this is the athletes, this is the ref. So imagine there's another hand. Both athletes say, "Yes, we're good, ref." The next command will be, "Don't move, go." There's not going to be a ready. It's going to be "Don't move" with a slight space followed by a "go." I feel like that way it's very, very simple. It's a lot, maybe not simple is not the right word, but it's easier to see a false start and easier to see who is doing the false start. If one athlete says, "Yes, I am good with this grip," and one athlete says no, then the referee will step in. They have 15 seconds to get a grip. So after one athlete says no, the first thing that the ref is going to do is they're going to square up the shoulders. Once the shoulders are squared and the ref goes back to adjusting the, so the ref is going to go shoulders, then the hands to set up. If an athlete makes a referee go back to adjust their shoulders, that will be a foul. I do not want the matches starting with monster carves. I want everybody to start square, the shoulders square, and I want that for everybody. Let's see. What I want to avoid, reason why I'm making a foul, is I want to avoid the ref going from setting the hands, and then they got to go back to set the shoulder. Then they got to go back to set the hand, and then they got to go back to set the shoulder. I want to avoid all that. If someone, I mean, you could do it. You could definitely try to sneak that shoulder in, but if you get caught, it's going to cost you a lot more than a warning, because there is no warnings. There's no warnings at the event. There's going to be 3 fouls. It's going to be a running foul system with 3 fouls. So anything that is a warning will just be a foul. So early starts will be a foul, not a warning. There's no warnings. There's also elbow fouls are running fouls, unless there is an unsportsmanlike foul. That is going to have to be obvious. What I mean by that is if someone pops their elbow up 3-4 inches off the pad and then proceeds to try to slam them down while their elbows, half a foot off the pad, that will be an unsportsman. That will be a stop and 2 fouls. So if you pull off an unsportsman foul, that will be 66% of your fouls. Not a warning. If you pull off an unsportsman foul, you might get away with it, but it's going to cost you a lot more than a warning. I feel like with way some of the rules are now, it's set up to where the person that fouls is rewarded. I want to try to set rules up to where if someone fouls, they are not rewarded. There is a slight cost, versus like with the warning system, you pretty much have, if someone, decides to use them, you pretty much have, 2 to 3 early starts. You can, there's stuff you could do that's not, it's not cheating because it's in the rules. But personally, I'm just not a fan of it. I like to see arm wrestling. I want arm wrestling to happen during arm wrestling. I don't want there to be any type of strategy for fouling. I want all the strategy to be arm wrestling. Let's see. Now, all slips will go to strap unless there's an unsportsman foul. Now, the unsportsman fouls, they must be obvious. Now, what I mean by that is the refs will know right away that, something that was unsportsman. It has to be obvious. I don't want it close. It has to be obvious for them to get that 2 foul unsportsman. Running fouls, all slips go to strap. I've seen this rule before. So now, say the strap, we're gonna have the strap on. So athlete, ref, so when they're putting the strap on, the athlete. Well, actually, I take it back. This is my offhand. Athlete. Say if the strap's here, some people like to hold it like that. You cannot touch the strap with your off hand anywhere. You cannot. If you just tap it, that will be a foul. There's no touching the strap. If you want the strap adjusted, like, some people like to have the strap pulled down here, you cannot adjust it yourself. What you can do is you can communicate with the referee and they can adjust it. But remember, if you touch the strap, it will be a foul. What I'm trying to do is eliminate maybe not eliminate, because you can still touch the strap. Like if you pull on the buckle and you pull on the strap to tighten it, that potentially may be an unsportsman. Maybe. Well, I don't know how much I am leaning towards that, but probably it would definitely be a foul. But no athlete's allowed to touch a strap with their off arm wrestling hand. It will be a foul. If you need anything adjusted, communicate with the referee. They will do the best of their ability. They may not be able to make it perfect because there might not be anything as perfect. But what else? What else am I missing for the rules? Oh, speaking of straps, I don't know if we talked about this before, but these are the Team Stone straps. We got them for sale. Got a nice buckle. It's good length. You could have 2 big fat arms, and you'll still be able to tighten them. There's a couple guys on the team with big fat hands. I might be one of them, so I'm able to use them with 2 big guys. So it's a nice strap. It is first edition. There is only going to be 100 of the first edition. The next straps will be the second edition. I'm going to try to make some small tweaks. I take the feedback that people give me on the strap, and I'm gonna make some small tweaks. what else is there for rules? Oh, for the tournament, now once your name is called, as soon as your name is called, you guys have to be at the table within 60 seconds. So what that means is you have to be arm wrestling before that minute's up. Not putting chalk on, not drinking water. You have to be on that table before 60 seconds. Otherwise, it will be a forfeit. Personally, I think that rule should be applied more in tournaments. You know, coming from the powerlifting side, that rule was strictly enforced. With the powerlifters, everybody would have 60. As soon as your name is called, there's a timer. You had 60 seconds. I think it's a good rule, especially if you're doing a big tournament. Because if you have 100, 200 people pulling, and they're all, you know, jerking around, you know, if they take 2 minutes instead of 1 minute, that can go from 2.5 hours to 5 hours. If they take 3 minutes, you know what I mean? What was that, 7.5 or something? So it's for the time. It's for the respect of everyone there. It's for the respect of everyone's time. Personally, there's nothing like you know, when someone takes their time, they finally get to the table, and they start setting up, and they go, oh, let me grab some. Is it okay if I grab some chalk? Yeah, like that stuff. Like if you're gonna get chalk, make sure you have it when you're walking up, because 61 seconds will be a forfeit. So keep that in mind, guys. Keep that in mind. We're gonna be pretty strict with the time. 60 seconds. Let's see. We'll see. 60 seconds. The only time that will not be enforced is, say, for example, say an athlete's pulling two classes. You know, he's doing 220 and 242, for example. If an athlete has a match, the minute will not start. Like, say if they're called, if an athlete is at table 3, they're in a match and they're called on table 4, the minute will not start until the match is over. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind if you're doing multiple classes. That's the only time you will have more time, is if you are actually arm wrestling. Otherwise, you have 60 seconds. Let's see. I know I said it at the beginning, but I'm almost out of the pre-workout. If you guys could guess what's in this pre-workout, I think I said 25%, maybe 5, maybe 15, 10%. But there will be, if you guys get all the ingredients to this pre-workout, I'll give you a discount to Team Stone shirts, straps, even coaching. Now this is a little different. It's still the main as my normal one, but it's a little different ingredient for the flavor side. But yeah, if you guys are watching, you have any questions for me, let me know. I don't think I showed you guys these yet. So this is the legendary golden turtle. Solid gold. Solid. Now, last year, we only had first place for pros, gold turtles for pros. This year, every first place will get a golden turtle. Now, a lot of people don't realize it, but these are legendary trophies. And there's only one place on Earth to get one. And that is going to be in Connecticut, September 6th in Steel Beach Gym. That's where we're having the event. They're hosting us. I appreciate Steel Beach Gym hooking us up with the place. We're going to be on the bottom story. It's a 3-story gym. We're going to be on the bottom. It's going to be on turf, so it's a nice setup. We'll be inside. There'll be AC if it's hot. If you guys need, I'm going to be making a few block excuse me, a few blocked off parking spaces. Kind of like a handicap parking spaces. If you guys need like anything like that, if you need like handicap space for like people getting out of chairs or whatever, let me know. Because right now I think there is one or two. There's definitely one definite. I'm gonna block off a space. Just so if they have to, they don't have to have a big giant walk in case they got to go back to the car, do anything. Also, too, there's no like parking. There's no parking lines at that gym, so it's kind of like park wherever. So I'm gonna block off some spaces for them, give them a little extra room in case they gotta, what's it called? Like they need to open the door. If someone parks too close to them, they won't be able to open the door long enough to get the chair out and stuff. If you need any special parking, I don't think there is any actual handicap spots, but I will make some, and I'll put them right next to the front door so you guys have nice, easy access. You don't have to carry all your stuff. You keep your stuff right in your car. Also, too, I don't know if we talked about this. There's going to be sit-down. There's going to be sit-down arm wrestling. I'm not sure how many people we're going to have. It might be a giant class. It might be a great turnout. It might not be too much. But we are prepared for two classes. We're going to go an under 200 pound and an over 200 pound. And it's just going to be weight. There's not going to be novice or pro. It's just two classes, but just one class. Over 200 and under 200. Let's talk about so there's also going to be more for the pro class. There's more in stake. This golden turtle would be, amazing to win. There's only been so many people who've been able to just hold it alone, But besides the fact, if you win the pro class and you get a golden turtle, you will be entered into the overall. Now, what the overall is, if you guys aren't familiar, that will be all of the first place finishers from the pro class are going to be doing like a best of a best. So whoever's the best at the end of that overall will be guaranteed a spot on the pay-per-view, the next pay-per-view event on Stone TV. So there will be two spots guaranteed if you win. It could be one athlete. One athlete may win both. But we'll see. It could be one guy. It could be two guys. It should be interesting. I wonder. It should be very, very interesting. The pros are definitely going to be entered into the overall. The only class that's not guaranteed right now is the Masters. The Masters will be determined of the day. As you guys are aware, probably. If not, I'll tell you right now, the Masters class is tricky. What I mean by that is it's either going to be full of world champions. It's either going to be full of world champions. Everyone there is a world champion, just an absolute monster. The second scenario is the Masters is going to be full of first-timers, a bunch of dads that have never arm wrestled on an actual table, and they just happen to be 40. And the third situation is going to be a mix of both. But it can go either way. The reason why I'm not guaranteeing it right now is I don't want to put if it ends up being the master class ends up being a lot of strong new guys, I don't feel comfortable putting a strong new guy against a pro. There was one tournament that I was in the overall. I made it to the overall, and I was almost mad, because they put me in a tough position. not in terms of, not in terms of like hurting my, like, not, there's no risk of injury, I feel like, for myself, but I feel like the risk of injury for the athlete I was pulling was through the roof. So we were in the overalls. So what they did is they put every single class, so novice, AM, semi-pro, every single class had entries, and they did first and second. They all faced everybody. So what happened was I think there was like $1,000 or $2,000 on the line, and I start pulling. I beat a couple pros, and next thing I know, this guy comes up and he goes, take it easy on me. It's my first time, and I thought he was sandbagging me. So I blast him, and instantly I realized he was not screwing with me. He was genuinely asking for his own safety because he was a first timer, and it didn't make sense to me because how can you be why would they allow a first timer to be in the overall with the best of the best in the tournament? It didn't make sense to me, But that being said, I had to kind of like make a decision. I didn't take it easy. It was tough, but unfortunately, I told every guy that I can't. There's too much on the line. Plus it's an overall. It's an overall, best of the best. Actually, that overall I ended up. That was a very interesting day. So I pulled left and right. I ended up winning the left supers. I came second place. Tim Bresnan beat me with the right. And then during the overalls, it ended up being me and Tim again. We had to pull both arms. So it was such a weird thing how it worked out. So we had to pull both arms. Tim does not pull left. So we pull 3 times right. He ends up beating me 3 times. And then they make us, instead of just giving us the win, they make us do 3 imaginary pins where everyone knows that, Tim's going to let me pin him left because he doesn't pull left. So in the overall, we're both tied for 3-3. We're tied. We both had 3 wins. So since it was tied, there has to be a tiebreaker. So there is a coin flip. The coin flip decides if we do right or left arm. So if I won that coin flip, if I got left, I went for left because that's an automatic win. But it ended up being right, so we had one more match. And that 4th match with Tim, I ended up getting the pin on him. I think I got a finger or something. I think because he was, we were slipping, we go to the strap, and then I had nothing for him at that time in the strap. So I ended up, I ended up grabbing a finger and or something like that and getting the pin. And because of those 3 left pins that, because Tim doesn't pull left, he let me pin him 3 times because of the overall. That 1 pin righty, even though Tim beat me 3 times, I beat him once. That made me the winner of the overall, which is very interesting how that worked out. It's very interesting. Actually, speaking of Tim will actually be in Connecticut this weekend. He's going to train with us. Or he better train with us. He said he was going to be there, so he should be there. He'll be at the Dungeon Saturday, 10 a.m. But he's also doing the fair. I want to say the Brooklyn Fair. Brooklyn, Connecticut, I think. There's going to be a amateur-only tournament. So keep that in mind, you guys that pull the fairs that should not be pulling the fairs. My opinion, if you know what a top roll is and you've been pulling the fair, you're probably too good. Because if you guys know, most people that pull in the fair, all they pull like that, the newbie style, where they just pivot, just bend your wrist and pivot, kind of like a muscle hook. But yeah, it should be good. I'm excited. I'm gonna go to probably the fair, watch a little bit, maybe help out if they need it. But yeah, it was good. It should be good. Um, if you guys got any questions for me, let me know. I don't know. Did I show you the silver turtle yet? So this is second place. We're still working on bronze, but this is second place. Solid silver. It's not as worth as much as gold, but still solid. Still solid material. But I don't know if you can see the size difference. First, gold bigger, and then we will have a little bronze one. It's going to be even smaller. But now we got the trifecta going. Gold, silver, bronze. What else? I'm going to stay on here. I got only a little bit more pre-workout. I'm going to stay on here a little bit longer. So if you guys have questions, let me know. I have a question for you guys. At the level, so like say the way I look at it is like say East versus West. It's probably it's like the major leagues. That's like the top right now in arm wrestling in terms of promotion and stage, being on the stage. Then there's stuff like a little bit lower, still put on good shows. When I say lower, just in terms of production, size of fan base, like Arm Gods or like Knuckles Up, they're very popular. They're not at the top, but they might be like double or triple A, something like that. Then you got stuff like our promotion. We have a pretty good level of athletes. We got legends. We got absolute, killers. We got monsters. But no one that's super in-house known, Now, all that being said, what would you guys think would be a fair pay-per-view price for a promotion that's like major league level, a promotion that's triple A level, promotion that's double A level, and then a promotion that's like A level? I probably right now I'd probably consider the promotion that we're doing Friday the 5th maybe like a double A level. It's going to be a great show. The athletes are great. It's only a matter of time before some of these athletes end up in that major league. But yeah, what would be a fair price? And what else is there? What else can we talk about? September. We talked about the pre-orders. Remember, if you guys want to get the t-shirts, make sure you get. If you want to make sure you actually get one, we only have 100, and last year they sold out really, really fast. I did get less 2Xs and less 3Xs than the other sizes, mostly because of the 2Xs and 3Xs were like $7 and $9 more than the other sizes, which that's usually how it works, just for the amount of material of the shirt, as well as different mostly the material. There's a lot more material. So I guess we could talk about we're gonna have a silent auction, where like we have the items up, and then people just go up, write their name and what they bid, and then just something like that. There's gonna be video game stuff. There's gonna be Ninja Turtle action figures. There's gonna be like a heated massager recovery tool. I want to say even an air fryer, maybe an air purifier, I think. But yeah, we got a lot. Oh, there's also going to be I forgot which East versus West it's from, but there's going to be a couple T-shirts that were signed by all the athletes on the card. I think it was like East versus West, like 12 or 13 or something. There's going to be signed T-shirts, signed straps that are going to be auctioned off, a silent auction. So we got some pretty good raffles. Last year we did, not raffle, silent auction. Last year we did the raffle. This year I want to see if the silent auction works a little better. We got some more bigger items, so I think it might be better to do a silent auction instead of a raffle. But maybe I'm wrong. But we're going to find out. We're going to see. What else? Maybe I'll see if I missed any comments. Let me scroll through, see if I missed any comments. I got another question for you guys watching. What do you guys prefer more to watch? What do you guys prefer more to watch? What do you prefer more to compete in? Do you guys like super matches? Do you like tournaments? Do you prefer round robins? Yeah, let me know what you guys prefer. I guess if I was asked the same question, to compete, I personally enjoy super matches much more than tournaments. One of my favorite things about super matches is once it starts, you go all the way to the finish. There's no once it starts, there's no waiting around. There's no 6-7 hours between matches. It's just as soon as the action starts, it goes all the way to the finish. That's one of my favorite things about the super match. Besides, I like the one-on-one aspect. I like the strategy aspect. But I think my favorite thing about super matches is once the action starts, it goes right to the finish. I'm sure you guys experienced yourself going to a tournament. You hang out. You have to wait for 4 or 5 hours, and then you might pull once or twice, and you gotta wait a little longer. Stuff like that. It's not the end of the world. Definitely doable. But once I started doing super matches, I just enjoyed the super matches so much more as a competitor. But I do as a spectator, I prefer super matches, but I do, I like watching tournaments just as much. But maybe slightly more super matches. Just, I like the strategy aspect. There's different factors, with a tournament, you could do damage to somebody and you might help somebody else, versus in a super match, if you do damage to somebody, you're going to help yourself. It's different, it's interesting. They're both the same sport, but it's just a little different. It's like one is arena football and one is like the NFL. Same sport, different field, different rules, but same sport. That's how I kind of look at it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about that. Also, too, maybe I keep on throwing this out there. There's been lots of bears around here. Actual bears, not that weird type of bear, but real bears. So if you guys are, coming over to the labyrinth, just be careful walking to your cars. Don't be walking around texting. Keep your head up, because you don't want to be, snucken up by a big old bear. It wouldn't be a good time. The one I saw yesterday, or whatever, 3 days ago, was a pretty big one. I say at least 500, and that's, That's super conservative. You know, it could have easily have been 6 or 7. But it's still probably the second biggest bear I've seen. There was one that was just absolutely monstrous. Um, there's a dump truck trail across the field where the farmers drive their dump truck. It's not like a 350 or 3500. It's an actual, you know, a dual axle, triaxle dump truck. And when I saw this bear walking, it was just waddling from tire track to tire track. This thing had I mean, it was huge. It had to be like 900 to 1,000 pounds at least, you know. But I haven't seen it since, so that's probably a good sign that I haven't seen that big one since. Let's see. Hey, what's up, Josh? Definitely prefer super matches, and they're more enjoyable to watch than tournaments. Yeah, I definitely could see that. You know, I personally like this. The pay-per-view that we're doing, it's going to be an edited version. Personally, I think edited versions have a lot more pros and benefits than live, you know, if that makes sense. But yeah, I agree with you. Super matches are definitely, I think they're more enjoyable too, you know. But hey, Josh, I don't know if you've been watching before. Are you going to make it to Turtle Man 2, September 6th? And maybe even the super matches the day before, September 5th? You planning on making it down? Well, I don't know where you're coming from. It could be up, could be down, but you plan on making it to Connecticut? Now, it's very, very interesting. Now, what else can we talk about? I'm only going to be on here a few more minutes. I said that a little while ago, but definitely this time, a few more minutes. So if you guys got any questions, let me know. I think this is a record for the live. I think yesterday was my record before. It was like an hour and something. This is like an hour, almost an hour and a half. So that's got to be a record, at least for me. PR, that's off, you know, setting off to a good day. PR before the morning lift. I'm just going to do nothing crazy today. Actually, it might end up doing some heavy wrist flexion, but we'll see. I might just save it for Saturday because Saturday will be my last hard. Excuse me. Saturday will be my last hard practice before the match. And then I'll just be doing, you know, timing stuff. You know, all the hard work is done. You just got to make sure you're timing and you got a good, you know, tune on the old race car. Well, yeah, it should be good. It should be good. What else is there? What else is there? Also, I know I keep on saying, I said it before quite a bit, but if you guys want to get tickets, in-person tickets to the super matches, they are currently up for sale. The money will be given to whatever YouTube doesn't take. The money will be given to the charity and also divided up among the athletes and referees. And then whatever's left will be given to the charity. So keep that in mind. It's going to be, the super matches are Friday at noon. Do not show up. Now, it will work but you might miss some stuff. You might miss a lot of stuff. We might not be able to get you a parking spot. You might have to park, a little further away and walk down. So if you guys want to show up to the event, I would say show up. You're definitely better up showing before 11. I would try to get there like, you know, 10:30 maybe. It's there's lots of moving parts. There's lots of moving parts. The event doesn't start till 12, so I mean you guys can definitely get there, 11:30. But I might be busy doing things like the rules meeting, so I'm gonna have to rely on the team to do stuff like that. I think it'll be okay. We got a good team. We got a good team of guys. No matter what anyone says, but it should be good. It should be a fun time. A fun time for a good cause. But I am excited. I do want to see what the bronze turtles look like. I wonder they're going to be like half the size as this one. But maybe I'll keep them right there for a little bit. I got another question for you guys. So certain tournaments have been known for certain trophies. Like Winter Blast does dragons. I've seen like a gorilla. I've seen like a bulldog, stuff like that. But I've never seen, in all my years, I've never seen a turtle, a golden turtle. So I think this is something that I think this is something that would grow. Something about the turtle. People really like the turtle. It's growing on people. The old snapping turtle. What? Yeah, guys, I'm going to stay on like another minute. If you guys have any last second questions, let me know. All right, guys. I think that's it for me today with live. Maybe I'll do something later on, but that's gonna be, if I got time. But let's get ready. Time to lift. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time, and enjoy.